Ready for a deep dive into a book that completely changed how I think about mornings.
I am. Let's do it.
All right, we're cracking open the 5 a.m. Club by Robin Sharma.
Okay.
But before you think, oh, another self-help book, this one's different. It's a story.
Oh, interesting. A story, like a novel.
Yeah, exactly.
Ah.
And it's super captivating. Imagine like a burnt-out entrepreneur, an artist struggling to, make it big, and then this mysterious mentor who just happens to be a billionaire with a very, very interesting morning routine.
Okay, now that sounds intriguing. So Sharma uses this fictional world to talk about real-world stuff.
You got it. He snuck in all these principles about productivity, mindset, like even neuroscience.
Sneaky. I like it.
Yeah.
So tell me more about these characters. Like, who are they?
Well, there's this cynical entrepreneur, right, at a total crossroads in life.
Right.
Then you've got this artist, bursting with potential but just stuck. And then there's this mentor figure, almost mythical, and he credits all his success to this thing called, you guessed it, the 5 a.m. Club.
Okay, so not your average club then. What's so special about 5 a.m.?
Right. It's not just about being an early bird. Sharma's tapping into this idea that there's a different kind of power in those quiet hours before the rest of the world wakes up.
I can see that. Like, you can finally hear yourself think before the day's chaos starts.
Exactly. And Sharma argues that's when you can unlock these deeper levels of creativity and focus.
Makes sense. So how does he connect these ideas in this story?
Oh, he uses the best examples.
Yeah.
Like he compares a productive person to, get this, a Formula One racing team.
Whoa, okay. Quite a comparison.
Right. He's talking about that same meticulous detail, that precision, that focus.
Mhm.
Or he tells the story of the Taj Mahal, which, by the way, took over 2 decades to build.
Wow, I did not know that. Okay, so patience and consistent effort are key.
That's what he's getting at, that these small, consistent efforts, they add up to incredible results.
I can get behind that.
Wow.
But how does this all connect back to us? Like, why should we care about the 5 a.m. club?
Because Sharma's suggesting that how we approach our mornings, it can literally ripple throughout our whole day, even our lives.
Okay, so it's like setting the tone for the day.
Exactly. It's about making intentional choices with your energy before the day just takes over, even if it means breaking away from how everyone else does things.
Food for thought, for sure. I can see why this book impacted you.
Oh yeah, it definitely made me rethink hitting that snooze button, I'll tell you that.
Me too, no. So what happens when these characters actually try this whole 5 a.m. thing? Is it easy?
Well, that's where it gets really relatable. Sharma doesn't sugarcoat it. He shows them really struggling.
Of course, change is never easy, right?
Exactly. He captures that feeling of trying to undo years, maybe even a lifetime, of ingrained habits. It made me think, can I actually do this?
So how do they push through?
Their eccentric billionaire mentor, right? He guides them every step of the way. And you start to see them change right before your eyes.
Okay, so what's their secret? Spill the beans.
There's this one part I love where the mentor says, control your mornings, propel your life. Basically, he's saying, take back those hours before the craziness starts and use them to your advantage.
Control your mornings, propel your life. I like that. It's catchy and true, I think.
And he goes even deeper with it. He says, each morning is a page in the story that becomes your legacy. Powerful stuff, right?
Wow, yeah. It makes those early hours feel more significant.
Exactly. And this is where he introduces the core of the 5 a.m. philosophy, the 20-20-20 formula.
Okay, what's that?
Without giving it all away, it's about taking that first hour of your day and splitting it into 3 20-minute blocks. Each block has a very specific focus.
3 20-minute blocks. All right, I'm hooked. Tell me more about this 20-20-20 formula.
Well, the first 20 minutes, it's like the 5 a.m. Club is saying, look, it's about more than just getting up early and checking things off your to-do list.
Yeah, definitely. It's deeper than that, right? Like a whole inner transformation thing.
Exactly. Aligning your actions with, like, your actual values, contributing something to the world. It's cool. Like, you see these characters and they start realizing this routine isn't just changing how they work, but their whole outlook.
Makes you wonder how many areas of life this could apply to.
Totally. And Sharma keeps coming back to this theme of magic and living a legendary life. Did you catch that?
Yeah, actually a few times. Like it was a recurring thing, right?
Totally. The mentor talks about like prioritizing experiences instead of stuff and embracing gratitude and really figuring out your purpose, not just chasing, money or status. It's pretty profound, actually.
Yeah, it's like those things stick with you longer anyway. Experiences, gratitude, those are the things that matter.
Right. It's like a spiritual awakening for these characters almost.
I can see that. So it's about way more than just like productivity hacks.
Totally. And what I find really powerful is how Sharma connects it all back to living a more fulfilling life, like a truly richer life, not just a successful one.
Right, because those two aren't always the same thing, are they?
Exactly. Remember that part about the twin cycles of performance?
Vaguely. Remind me about that one.
Okay, so he talks about how, like, truly high achievers, they don't just burn themselves out,
Okay.
They understand that there needs to be a balance. Intense work with deep rest and recovery. It has to be both.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Like that saying, you can't pour from an empty cup, right?
Yes,
Mm,
that's a good way to put it. And we're so used to that whole grind culture mentality,
totally. Hustle and grind and never stop.
Exactly. But Sharma's saying no, true sustainability comes from prioritizing both. Push yourself to the limit, but then give yourself permission to recharge so you can actually come back stronger.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. So it's not about doing less, but working smarter.
That's it. And he
Ex-
doesn't just stop at work either. He applies it to relationships too.
Oh, interesting. How so?
Like he's saying, you can't expect to be a great partner, friend, parent, whatever, if you're running on fumes all the time. You have to invest in those connections. Give yourself space to recharge so you can actually show up as your best self.
Being present in those relationships, right? It's important.
Exactly. And this goes back to another big idea from the book. Our perception of reality really shapes our experience. The mentor talks about that poverty mindset. Like,
Yeah.
if we're always focused on what we don't have instead of what we do have.
You're not going to get very far, are you?
Exactly. It can really limit us.
We create our own limitations in our minds.
It's like our thoughts become self-fulfilling prophecies. If we keep telling ourselves we're not good enough, smart enough, capable enough, well, we probably won't even try.
You're probably right. We talk ourselves out of it before we even begin.
But what if we shifted to a mindset of abundance, possibility?
Like, what if we actually believed in ourselves? What then?
Yeah, it's when we open ourselves up to all sorts of opportunities.
It's amazing how much our mindset can influence our reality.
Right. It's huge. And Sharma talks about recognizing those limiting beliefs and then choosing to challenge them. He wants us to embrace discomfort, see those challenges as opportunities for growth, and push past those self-imposed limits.
I like that. It's like what we were saying about getting out of our comfort zone.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, and there's this one line, it literally gave me chills. The day that the majority of people give up is the day that the legendary few break through.
Wow. Yeah. I get chills just hearing that. That's really powerful.
It really stuck with me. Like, it's a reminder that resilience, perseverance, and belief in ourselves are often the keys to achieving those incredible breakthroughs.
Because those who succeed are often the ones who just didn't give up.
It's like Sharma saying, hey, you can step out of those self-imposed limits. There's a whole new version of you waiting to come out.
Yeah, totally. Like, we have more control over our thoughts and habits than we think. We can create our own reality, to a certain extent at least.
Right. And ultimately, it's about taking ownership of our lives. That really resonated with me, that idea that we can choose to wake up to our potential, not just our alarm clocks.
And that's the beauty of this book, right? It's not like do this, do that. It's a call to action. Take these principles, mindset, productivity, self-awareness, and make them your own. Create a routine that works for you.
Because it's about designing a life you love.
Right.
One that feels authentic to you, aligned with what you care about.
Exactly. And you know what's cool? You don't have to do it all at once. Even just starting with one or two things from the book can make a difference.
I love that. Small changes, big impact. So out of everything we talked about, what really stuck with you?
Honestly, it was that reminder that we're all capable of amazing things, but we have to show up for ourselves, even when it's hard, even when we'd rather just sleep in.
It's about making that commitment to our own growth.
Yes, and the more we nurture that commitment, the more we open ourselves up to those breakthroughs, those moments where everything changes.
It's been awesome diving deep into the 5 a.m. Club with you.
Likewise, it's been a great conversation.
For anyone listening who's feeling inspired, I highly recommend checking out the book. We couldn't cover everything, obviously. There's even more in there. Stories, tips, you name it.
Plus, it never hurts to get some extra sleep after a deep dive like this. Recharge those batteries.
Exactly. Ready to take on the world, 5 a.m. style.
Bring it on.
Awesome. To everyone listening, thanks for joining us on this journey into the 5 a.m. Club. Until next time, keep diving deep and keep exploring those incredible possibilities within yourself.